When you think of a bunch of our favorite anime characters, what is the dream scenario that we always see from every single fandom out there? It is the crazier transformations. We've been seeing fan-made transformations all online, and we know what the max power of these characters are, but what if they reach an even higher peak? Well, we're going to take a look at some fan-made anime transformations or power-ups, and we're going to rank them based on their practicality, their design, and obviously if they can really box. So first up, we have Super Saiyan 5 Goku from Dragon Ball AF. Now, if you're a Dragon Ball fan of many years, you already know about this character. You've seen this design everywhere. This was probably one of the most popular fan-made transformations of all time in all of anime. Looking at this design, you got to give it obviously a 10 out of 10. I mean, it looks fire. It's obviously a play off of the Dragon Ball GT version of Super Saiyan 4 and now the canon Dragon Ball Daima version of Super Saiyan 4, but it kind of has a little bit of flair of the Ultra Instincts. You're seeing the white hair and you're seeing the white fur and stuff, so obviously that's giving you a little bit of an Ultra Instinct vibe. Maybe that's where Ultra Instinct's design was drawn from. We don't really know, but I would love to see this form of Super Saiyan 5 if it ever became a part of the anime. I think it would look super fire. I mean, you're literally seeing a Super Saiyan 3 hairstyle with the Ultra Instinct white color, and it looks like Goku would be a problem in this form. Now, we don't know exactly how powerful he would be or if it really even matters at this stage in the game, because in Dragon Ball Super, you understand that we have Ultra Instinct. You understand that we have Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue. So at the end of the day, is Super Saiyan 5 really necessary? It would have to be another Dragon Ball Daima scenario where you have to go back in time and then maybe retcon something to add Super Saiyan 5 into the mix. So it wouldn't really make sense to add it into the story now, because in Super, we've already achieved such higher heights. So I'm looking to give this probably an A. I'll give Super Saiyan 5 Goku an A. Next up, we are looking at Sasuke Aizen's Bankai. Yes, this ability is honestly ridiculous. First of all, the design is sick. It kind of gives you that vibe of Shunsui's Bankai. We're seeing kind of a humanoid goddess type technique coming out. We can't truly explain what's really going on here because obviously this is fan made, but we never really get to see Aizen's Bankai. So just seeing that he's using this in his battle against Yhwach, it looks crazy already. You see him saying, "Feel it, Quincy, the power of a true god." What does this truly mean? Well, according to the fan made transformation, Aizen's Bankai is called the Mizu Ojo no Hansha, and basically what it does is it takes control of all of your Reryuku and puts it under an eternal illusion. So now you have no shot, you can't get your power back, you can't control anything because now it's under an infinite Tsukuyomi, essentially, from the Naruto verse, if you want to draw somewhat of a close comparison. So if we're going strictly off practicality in the Bleach verse, I mean, this is very broken. You got to give it 10 out of 10 off practicality. You got to give it 10 out of 10 out of design. I mean, I'm giving Aizen's Bankai an S tier. Absolutely. I mean, it's perfect. It would really be great to see Aizen's Bankai in action, man. Next up, we have Naruto and Sasuke if they were 10 Tails Jinchuriki. Now, this one is interesting because we already know, we've seen the Sage of Six Paths power up Naruto. We've seen the Sage of Six Paths power up Sasuke. They had the Six Paths Senjutsu, but it was added to their bag, but they weren't actually 10 Tails Jinchuriki. They just kind of were going off of Injira and Ashida's powers. If Sasuke were 10 Tails Jinchuriki, I mean, he would probably be somewhere around an approximation of how Obito was using it. Naruto for me would kind of be a more interesting version of this, because one thing Obito was not able to do, and same thing with Madara, was that they were not able to kind of become friends with the 10 Tails. They weren't able to work together and have the 10 Tails power them up. They were just drawing off the power off of pure rage and hate and anger. But when you look at how Naruto and how Killer Bee were able to become friends with their tail beasts, so they became stronger through that, if Naruto was able to implement that same type of style with the 10 Tails beast, man, it would be crazy. Now, as far as design goes, I mean, we've already basically seen it with Obito and Madara, so it's nothing really crazy there. I would really rank this more off of the practicality of it, and I think Sasuke wouldn't really have that deep of a bag that's different from Obito, but Naruto essentially, because he would be able to draw more power out from the 10 Tails beast because he knows how to do so much better than Obito and Madara, in my opinion. I think that Naruto having the 10 Tails would be an even crazier feat to pull off. tough. All in all, I'm giving Naruto and Sasuke 10 Tails Beast probably like around a B. I mean, Sasuke's is literally gonna be similar to Obito's. Now this one is wild. We have Luffy in Gear 6, and a lot of people have been calling this his devil form, the devil boy, the evil version of Sun God Nika. And there have been many theories out there that there's a version of Nika that has been imagined by maybe, let's say, Giants in Elbaf or other various people throughout the universe in One Piece, and they have thought of a more angry version of Nika, and maybe this is something that Luffy can unlock in his Gear 6 with his devil form. First of all, the design looks ridiculous. This looks like he's already going to be showing haki levels close to that of Roger, or if not Roger level. Like, this is what this form truly looks like. Now, as far as practicality goes, a lot of the explanations that I've seen for Luffy's Gear 6 form have not really shown me anything that's different from that of Gear 5. I'm seeing things like he can maybe change the properties of elements. We've already seen him do that in his fight against Kaido with the lightning. People are bringing up, well, he'll be able to change reality. Luffy has already been doing that in Egghead, in his fights against Saint Saturn, in his fights against Kizaru, in his fight against Rob Lucci. So does there really need to be a Gear 6 form? Not really, because Luffy has already stated that Gear 5 is his peak. So it really wouldn't make sense for Luffy to have a Gear 6 unless the Gear 6 is offering something that's completely different from that of Sun God Nika. Now, we say there's different forms of Nika that have probably been imagined throughout the history of One Piece, and if we're going to say that maybe this is the enraged version of Sun God Nika, I still think that's a Gear 5 thing. Gear 5 is Luffy's awakening. That's him unlocking the power of his devil fruit to his max ultimate power. The only thing Luffy really needs to do now in One Piece is that he needs to really master his haki and master controlling his Gear 5 ability. That's the reality. He's already unlocked to the level. He just has to increase his mastery of it, his proficiency in haki and his proficiency in devil fruit awakening abilities. So there's really no use for Gear 6 unless it's something that's even crazier than Sun God Nika, like an awakening times 2. But I will give it a 10 out of 10 for the design, because I think the design looks insane. So for Luffy Gear 6, I'll probably have to go with a B, but I'm gonna put it above Naruto and Sasuke. Great design, it would be awesome to see in a fight, but there's really no use for it. Next up, we have 250% One For All faux version Deku. Now this is ridiculous. I've seen this on Twitter. Apparently the way this was described to us is that this is Deku at a 100% One For All plus gear shift plus Faji. So he's at 100% full count, but he's also maxed out all the other quirks as well from the other vestiges. And they're saying that this would be him at a 250% One For All. Faux version, obviously. In terms of practicality, I think anytime Deku is able to go fully 100% full cowling or even higher is great to see, right? Him using all of his quirks at its max potential would even be better. And I don't think Deku was able to really master all of his quirks at max power, but this is what this would essentially look like. It would be the peak, the best form of Deku that can possibly ever be created or ever be in existence. You gotta give that a 10 out of 10 completely. Now the design doesn't look anything different from what we've already seen. I think this might even be a screen grab from like the anime or something. So I don't think there is an official design for this. Even with that being said, whatever this image is right here, I don't remember if it's a screen grab or it might be something to show a little bit more. I mean, the electricity right here looks crazy. It does look fire, I'm not gonna lie, but it doesn't look new. It looks like it's a remix on something that we've seen against Deku in his fight with Overhaul or something. So I'd probably give this like a 7 out of 10 of a design. The practicality, I gotta give it a 10 out of 10. I think it will be great to see. Actually, I might have to bump that down to a 9 because I don't know how Deku in his current state with his body looking like this will be able to operate at that max power like that. I don't know how he would be able to do it. I don't think he has the muscle mass or the stamina to really hold One For All at that percentage, unless he has the Eri backpack with him. If he has the Eri backpack, anything is possible. But I do like this though. Let's go ahead and give Deku an A. I think it's great. Next up, we have adult Killua. So we've already seen Gon's adult form. We know exactly what that is. When Gon turned into his adult form, he literally took all of his future potential and applied it to his present day form as a kid, and he became super powerful. He even rivaled the power of Meruem himself. That's how powerful he was if we take the Pito statements word for word. Now let's go to Killua. up. We don't know exactly how powerful Killua would be as an adult. We have not seen it. There's no really approximation of it. What we can do is we can look at Silver Zoldyck, his father, or Zeno Zoldyck, his grandfather, and say, okay, we've seen how powerful they were, but again, it was a 2v1 against Chrollo when we got to see them in action, and there's a lot of people that have theorized that Chrollo wasn't really going all out, which you can really make a case because if you look in the manga, his fight against Hisoka, obviously Chrollo was pulling a lot more tricks out of the bag than he did against the Zoldyck family at that time. But what we can say is Killua is a prodigy. He is a transmuter, obviously, which is different from Gon being an enhancer, but he still is a prodigy. The fact that he was able to literally stun lock Yuppie and help Knuckle get out of there while landing 8 hits, the only thing I can really imagine is that beyond the paralysis, now you're talking about some real heavy damage being inflicted in Killua's kind of Godspeed mode. Think about adult Killua Godspeed mode. You know how dangerous that would be? Yuppie couldn't even see where Killua was at. Killua was moving so fast that he got paralyzed. Yuppie. Now let's bring that to an adult form. He's gonna be moving so fast that Meruem may not even be able to perceive where Killua's at. This is the levels of stuff that we are really trying to talk about. So again, I think there's still a lot of room left for the design of this. I mean, this kind of just looks like Killua wearing Gon's clothes and then going adult. So the design is not really fleshed out. I'll probably give it like, honestly, like a 3 or a 4 out of 10. But the practicality of it, I like it. I'll probably have to give it like an 8 out of 10, honestly. I think it would be really awesome to see a Godspeed adult form of Killua. For Killua, I'm gonna go towards the lower side of B. I think the design has a little bit of work needed, but the practicality is great. Next up, we have Ultra Instinct Broly. Could you imagine if Broly were a UI? I mean, think about this for a second. I just want you guys to understand. Broly forced Goku and Vegeta to fuse and then go Super Saiyan Blue while he was in just Legendary Super Saiyan. Imagine if Broly unlocked Ultra Instincts. We already know he's training with Whis and Beerus. There's a possibility that this form can actually be canon. This is not like some fairy tale type of thing. There is a possibility that this could actually happen. Because remember when we were talking about Goku and Super Saiyan 5, that fan-made transformation, what were we saying? We were saying things like, unless you bring a Daima type scenario again, where you have to go back in time and retcon what's going on, there's really no use for a Super Saiyan 5 because we already have Super Saiyan God. We already have Super Saiyan Blue. We already have Ultra Instinct. There's really no use for a Super Saiyan 5. But there could be a use for an Ultra Instinct form of Broly. And the fact that this is something that could truly happen, you have to give it a 10 out of 10 just off that alone. I mean, a UI Broly would be disgusting. The design, I think it fits. I mean, it's not anything too crazy, but it's Broly with the white Ultra Instinct hair, and then you have the UI aura going around the body. I mean, that's literally what we saw from Goku. It fits. He's a Saiyan. It's not gonna look anything too crazy or too different. I think this form of Broly would be ridiculous, y'all. Ultra Instinct Broly gotta be S tier for me. Next up, we have something that is so completely overpowered, so completely broken, that I can't even believe that somebody drew this up. I mean, it just doesn't even make sense. If I showed you guys the amount of abilities this character had, it would be beyond anything you could even comprehend. But we have Saitama Terra 4. Reality manipulation, ultimate defense, speed incalculable. Like it's just everything out of this character is just broken beyond measure. So I don't even know what to say for practicality because this form of Saitama is literally just a god of gods. Like it's just somebody literally just made the most broken character from Saitama that they could possibly think of. But at least the design looks fire. I don't even know, but it just looks like he's channeling the aura of the universe or something. Like it just looks so dope. I have to give it a 10 out of 10 for design. It really made Saitama, who's hard to make look fire, honestly, in my opinion, look fire. But in terms of the abilities, like there's something to be said for having too many abilities, where if you're in a battle, you got to think about, all right, which ability I'm going to be using. Well, I mean, Saitama in this form is also broken in terms of his smarts. I mean, there's nothing that this Saitama cannot do. I'm probably just going to give Saitama Terra 4 an A. I think that's fair. Next up is a pipe dream that all Naruto fans have had at some point. We see Rock Lee here in his 8th gate. We know Rock Lee knows about the hidden gates, and we've seen him unlock up to the 6th gate, I believe. And we know it's possible for him to reach the 8 gates, at least in Boruto, but we've never seen it on screen. We've never seen it happen. Rock Lee has never unlocked his version of Night Guy that we've seen from Might Guy. Now, as far as design goes, I mean, it does look fire, but we already know that it can't look too different from Might Guy. I mean, their designs are very, very close. Obviously, Might Guy trained Rock Lee, so it's around there, right? We already know there's not really much room for innovation in terms of the design, but the practicality would be great. The only thing I would really want to see about this is if we see this version of Rock Lee, could it surpass my guy as the greatest taijutsu user of all time? At this point, that's the only reason I would ever want to see Rock Lee use this technique, because if he's going to use his 8 gates and it's a weaker version of my guy, throw it away. I don't want Rock Lee to use his 8th gate unless it's showing us that he can achieve a taijutsu power level that is even far greater than my guy's. The kid in me wants me to give this like an A or an S, but realistically, I would probably give it a B. But I'll put it above Killua, and I'll probably put it above Naruto and Sasuke 10 Tails as well. Lastly here, we have Yuji, but he has the 6th eyes, the same technique that Gojo has. Now, we do know about Gojo's 6 eyes, right? That it gives him the ultra precision, allows him to see all the cursed energy flowing throughout the verse, and he is able to use this technique to literally control his limitless and basically become OP, right? He can channel his cursed energy a lot more. He basically can become one with cursed energy. He becomes more broken with the 6 eyes. Now we are taking that version of Gojo, we're removing his 6 eyes and we are giving them to Yuji. How broken would Yuji be with the 6 eyes? Now we do know that Yuji's curse technique is kind of somewhat similar to that of Sukuna's. We're seeing a lot of black flashes being popped out by Yuji. We know he can dismantle as well. If Yuji had access to 6 eyes, those black flashes will be popping out every 5 seconds. Yuji would be a force to be reckoned with. I mean, his control of curse techniques would be ridiculous, because we do know that Yuji also has access to reverse curse technique. We know that Yuji also has access to literally putting cursed energy onto his fist and boxing. Very, very generic, but if you give him 6 eyes, now it's that times 10. He's gonna be literally dropping black flashes like at a ridiculous rate. As far as the design goes, I mean, it's basically Yuji with just blue eyes. Like, it's nothing really crazy. The design is mid, but the practicality and the use of it, if we're thinking about Yuji in his fight against Sukuna or anybody else, I mean, it would be ridiculous. For me, I think I'm gonna give Yuji's a C. Now, as you guys can see here, I thought Aizen's Bankai was the best out of all of them. The technique makes sense. The design is fire. Broly's is a close second. But when you're looking at Luffy's Gear 6, I mean, I would bring it higher if there was more use for it, if there was more reason to have it. But basically, all the stuff I've been seeing online is that it's basically just an enhanced version of Gear 5 and not a new ability coming from Luffy. Deku's was also very impressive as well, but I needed to see it just a little bit more. You guys let me know down in the comment section below if you agree with any of this, or if there's even some more wacky transformations out there. And with that, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.